And it's rolling. Hello, everybody out there in internet land. Facebook, YouTube, Punk Rock Saves Lives says hello. It's Rob. I'm always the kind of the first person on here to talk, but um, we got some really cool stuff to talk about this week. First off, do my normal introductions. I'm going to start
Hold
with
on. Oh, there we go. Sorry.
Mackenzie down below. Mackenzie
Hi.
is here, and hi Jen. We got a new one already. Mackenzie, how's your week?
It's been good. It's been kind of long already. Dealing with some personal stuff and then helping a couple friends out. Currently getting an old friend of mine sober, so it's been kind of a wild ride, but I definitely feel like I'm doing the best that I can and everything that I should be doing. So
Well, that would work out great with this week's discussion. So
yeah, it is nice timing.
To that side, there we go, is our co-host Dan Falkenthal, our mental health specialist and all-around great human being. How's Dan this week?
Dan is doing damn great. It's best I've felt in weeks. Getting my head above water and staying organized. Trying to plan out a few more things for the coming weeks and next year as things are given more dates for events, and just feeling all around good here.
There you go. Heard you had a possible addition to your family this week.
Yes, nephew was born last Monday. Nathan Charles Falkenthal. So incredibly happy.
Nathan Charles. Is it a Nathan with an E-N or an A-N?
I'm pretty sure A-N.
Oh, okay.
You should know.
You'd think, right?
We were wondering if you named him after, or they named him after Mr. Maxwell, but you know.
If only.
And last but not least, I'm really stoked to introduce our guest this week. And you might know him from the Crumb Bums, also Starving Wolves, pretty amazing band from Austin, Texas. And he is, well, for the last 2 years, the new singer. I guess you're just the singer now of the Casualties.
The better singer.
Everybody say hello to Mr. David Rodriguez. He's bleeping out a little on us, but
hey,
there he is.
I don't know if you hear me or not.
We can hear you, but it's coming through kind of delayed.
Oh no, did we lose him?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave, if you can hear us, keep trying, bud. We see you.
I can't hear you guys.
Sometimes when that happens, you need to log out and log back in. But can you hear anybody?
Anything?
No.
Let's see.
His face looks very pensive, though.
Log out.
It's like when I froze.
Yeah. It does. It looks just like when you froze, actually.
It does, actually.
But
let me see something.
While he works on it, we'll get rolling. Lots been going on this week. I hope everybody's been busy keeping themselves going. There have been some major flare-ups around the country with COVID, and we're worried about everybody, especially Florida, Arizona. Who else? California
and Texas.
Texas and
the Big Four.
Yeah, and Georgia. I heard it's had some pop up. And officially last night, Colorado followed suit and reclosed all the bars, which is the first step. But also kind of weird to talk about with this week's conversation. So that's cool.
I mean, I like having places to be, you know.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Kind of one of those things.
Yeah, you don't have to be not go to gathering places when you're sober. You can.
Yeah. It's whatever. It's whatever works for you. Personally, I mean, I work in one, so it doesn't make any sense to not go. But I'm still, despite working, I'm still staying staying home. I actually did go to a restaurant for the first time today, and it was my own restaurant. I was like, oh, I want to, just want to sit down and have something good. Figure might as well sit on patio, and it's nice. I brought my brother with me. He's going back to California on Sunday, and I'm trying to talk him out of it, but.
It looks like David's moving his car to get better service. Hopefully he can hear us now, but.
Maybe.
I thought it was rather cool, fitting what we were going to talk about was that the topic this week is sober in the time of COVID, as well as touring. So a couple of hard times to stay sober. So David, the cool thing is when he finds a good place here, David was at his AA meeting and came out to join us. So this is pretty rad. I know I've been privy to a lot of people on the Warped Tour and a lot of the tours I've done staying sober. And the great thing is there's always been Music Cares doing AA meetings every night, all sorts of cool stuff. And I know Mackenzie, you're sober, correct? And,
I am.
And David is when he gets back.
I mean, he's also currently sober, but he'll still be sober when he gets back. Hopefully.
Yeah. You never know with all the difficulties. No. So
yeah, crazy things happening every day.
But, like we've said many and many times before, if you are a sober person, we are 100% in your corner. We care for you. We want to make it easier for you. We want to offer tips and ways to do it. If you're not a sober person, this is not any way, shape, or form an attack on anybody that chooses to be sober or not sober. We are in your corner no matter what, and we want to make sure that you have the tools that you need to make your life better. And that can be sober or not sober. It could whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's we just want to make sure you have the keys. Hopefully David will make it back. I think he was trying to get to a better Wi-Fi signal, it looked like. So.
But yeah, there's no judgment for people who aren't sober. I mean, none of us who are sober ever thought that we would be sober. This is fun, whatever. We completely get it. I mean, you have a few people who feel otherwise sometimes, but I definitely completely understand. And more power to you if you can just do whatever you want, not let it completely take over your life like it has for some of us. That said, if any of you watching, or if you know somebody who is thinking that maybe it's time that they kind of, cut it out and it's gotten a little too far, feel free to reach out to me. I definitely have a ton of resources that I can send your way, and we'll see if we can't get you helped.
Yep. David, can you hear us now? He looks like he's home now. I like this.
See you, but there's no sound.
All escape decks.
Well, yeah, I'm jealous.
Getting a tour of David Tejas's house. It's amazing.
I've got skateboard singing behind me, but I don't have that bad religion. Whoa, go back to that. I'm a tad bit of a skateboardaholic, if you don't know that. So there's my and we can see you, David.
See, what has he got on the wall? Yeah, that'd be sick.
We're looking at your skate decks if you can hear us, but you got to have fun with this. So, he'll come back. He's going to keep trying. Let's go over to Dan. Dan was trying to find some cool tips and tricks, and Mackenzie, make sure that keep us on track because you've put these into action, and we're really proud of you. So,
thank you.
Yeah, it's a difficult topic when researching, even to find exactly what works, because it's kind of up to what works for you best. Like anything else, trial and error. A lot of what I've read, and you can. Oh, there he is.
He's back. Can you hear us, David?
No.
We can see you. We can't hear you.
We see you. You're moving. You're not frozen. Oh, hey, you're on mute. Rob, do you have access to unmute him?
It's on him, I think.
You should have a
Yeah, but
David. There he is.
Okay, can you hear
There
me?
we
Yay!
go.
Woo!
Yay!
Welcome back, man. Little frozen, but it'll catch up.
Can you hear us, Steve? For some reason, your Wi-Fi or your cellular is jamming up.
While we're paused, Josh Massey says hi.
Oh, hi, Mr.
Anytime,
Josh.
hit me up when you're done.
I kind of love that guy a little bit.
Yeah. He's gonna visit my island in Animal Crossing tonight, and I'm pretty excited about it. He just started playing.
Ah,
Yeah. Well, virtual hangout with the Massey boy.
does that mean he has a little avatar? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how
Yeah,
all that
so it'll
works.
be. He's gonna fly over to mine, and we can hang out together.
There you go.
Yeah.
I haven't done that. I haven't done that game.
You should. It's fun.
I don't. It's seemingly even in this time of COVID, I don't have time for that. We've been doing so much.
It is a time-consuming one, that's for sure.
We've been doing so much with the house and everything. They finished the deck finally.
Nice.
So it took about 3 weeks longer than it should have, but oh well. We're getting there. Now it's cleaning up all the mess.
I can't wait to see it.
Walter is chasing a fly through the house. It's just me and Walter tonight. Tina and the girl dogs went up to the mountain already. I'm gonna go join them tomorrow morning. But all right, back to the tips. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, you're good. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, Mackenzie, on anything, because I know it's a touchy subject for a lot, especially when they're starting. And
I love hearing what it looks like from the outside. I love that. So
that's actually, I never thought of it that way, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's not. I know I've been surrounded with it in my life with grandparents, so it's on both sides of my family. So I personally have seen it, but more at a younger age, and then seeing it today as a whole, 15 years later, is a whole different perspective of its own. Especially in the beginning, using the term lightly with relapse, but it's you find a way. You really do. It's not something that ever comes. Everybody wants to try cold turkey, and although with anything, it can even be exercise. I'm trying to do no bread this month simply, which I know, as anybody knows, is difficult. With anything, it takes a lot of time, a lot of patience. Patience is probably the biggest thing.
He's moving better. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
You're good, making sure he's in.
It's definitely good to be patient with just everything in yourself. I mean, me personally, I can't tell you how many attempts I made. I was like, oh, I'm going to go sober for 30 days. And I did that. And I was supposed to be better or different. And then that didn't work. And then I did 90 days. And I was supposed to be like, oh, life-changing, and it wasn't. I counted down the days to 90 and just kind of was back on my bullshit, so to speak. I know some people that worked for, but everybody I know, it didn't work the first time, and that's totally okay. But what's nice is every single time you just have to get back up. You just have to get back up on that horse, and everybody thinks, oh, I have to start over. You're not starting over at all, because you learned things during that time of your first attempt, or your second attempt or whatever. You learn shit. You have those tools still in your toolbox. They just might, they might need a little dust off, and that's the thing. I mean, kind of specifically talking about sobriety and COVID, I was terrified. I saw what was happening in Italy, and I was like, yeah, if we got locked down, I'd probably start drinking again. And 2 days later, I lost my job. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, I'm already have this feeling in my brain that I don't want to, but it's still something that popped up in my brain, and I'd been really complacent for a while. And that's kind of what scares me most, is when I get comfortable, when I stop thinking about my sobriety. It doesn't mean that I'm cured. It just means that I'm even at greater risk. I might start thinking like, oh, I'm better now. I can do this. And then it's never worked out in my favor. But I did myself a giant disservice. For 2 years, I didn't do AA. And I started doing that at the beginning of COVID with a very niche group that I'm a part of, sober people that I love to death and have a lot in common with, specifically everyone who goes to punk rock bowling sober. And they kind of stepped up immediately, and we were just all there for each other. And that has been life-changing in a lot of ways. So
it's amazing.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
is that staying in touch online, or is it people around you? What is it?
It's definitely been, for me, it's been all online. All of my kind of sober communities always have been. But yeah, so we just immediately kind of got on that Zoom meeting train and set up daily things where we could all, get together and talk. And we had kind of we started just do weekly hangouts. So weren't even meetings where we just listen to punk rock and like all wear Hawaiian shirts or whatever and just be totally stupid, but it was good, and a lot of the advice that
That's
I got
awesome.
into, is he back?
Are you here, David? Can we hear you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm hearing you. It's a little bit broken up, so be patient with
No
me.
problem.
So,
All
good.
but
All good.
I'm not interrupting. I got in.
No, you're good.
What I was kind of catching up on was like the first time it not
Yeah.
taking. Is that right?
Yeah, did it for you?
No, you know what? I talk about this like I don't know how I should be. I guess we're gonna do this kind of how we do Brian. We're gonna do the best that we can.
Yeah.
For me, yeah, for me, and I had this conversation just yesterday. And the coolest thing that I've found with this is that the more we search for something that we want, we start to find it, and that and I was deep in that when I wanted to find drugs, I fucking found them, and sometimes they weren't what I wanted, but they were gonna change the way I felt. That's what I wanted. I was unhappy with everything around me. I was unhappy with what was going on inside of me, and I wanted to change that,
Yeah.
And there became kind of a point in my life when, yeah, when I knew something was fucked up. And I grew up in a world where I knew nothing about AA.
Mm.
I knew nothing about sobriety, and we laughed at it. I can remember watching Intervention on Sundays, and Sundays was like my day, where I'm gonna pull it back together. And I would make like a real nice dinner, and I would binge drink a bottle of vodka, and I would laugh at these people,
Yeah.
because that was my way of coping with it. And when I look back on it, why was that? And it's so apparent. I was screaming and begging for help.
Yeah. Well, it's like you see somebody that looks so much like you, but you don't want to admit it, and it makes you angry. And that's what it was for me. I'm just like, I'd be like, oh wow,
yeah.
like, good for you, you got sober. I can't imagine what it's like to have a problem. Like, meanwhile, I'm shit housed 90% of the time. I was just like, and same thing. My life just stopped looking the way I needed it to.
And I think what's really awesome and why I'm so excited to be here for numerous reasons. Me and Rob go way back, but the thing too though is like I wanted to be an alcoholic. I wanted to be a drug addict ever since I was a little kid, and I listened to shit like I'm an alcoholic and I just love the kick. I'm over here like
Those are the
blasting
anthems.
KSU
Yeah.
kick, and I'm what? Yeah, 13, 14, and so all my heroes were dead, OD'd, were binge drinkers, binge drug addicts, and so I I became that, and it was what I wanted. And the people around me, the older people that were around me, um, they were in my world, I'm a low level addict, low bottom. And I don't mean that as like, oh, it's cool. That's just the reality of my story. And the greatest thing about this in this kind of conversation that we're having is that we all have different levels of addiction. But when we start looking at the similarities rather than the differences, we can connect. But so what a lot of the adults that I looked up to, they did like what I did. They pulled it back in on Sunday nights. They kept it at about 50% through the week. And Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we blacked out.
Yeah.
And that was how I did it. And I think one thing I like to work with a lot of younger than me people in the scene, because I'll tell you this, I 100% could not relate to people around me telling me about addiction, because most people were telling me what I needed to be doing, not relating to me. And when I first started listening to some AA shit, it was like all I heard were the differences. And I remember one thing that I hated. I hated it because I didn't understand. I hated hearing you're not special. You're not special. And I kept going, fuck you. I'm not saying I'm better than you, but I am
Yeah.
special. And it took about 2 years before I understood what these people are saying is that my pain is not special, meaning it's not abnormal in this community, and we don't have to pretend. And man, I got shivers when I think about that, dude. It'll put tears in my eyes. I finally had another tribe to talk to, and just like anything else, I didn't get along with everybody in AA, but there were a few people that I did. And
Yeah.
and at first, again, when people said, "You want what we have?" Fuck you, motherfucker. I don't want anything that you have. I want what I want. And then I stopped looking at the differences, and I said, "You know what I want? I want to fucking wake up and not want to kill myself. That's what I want. That's all that I
Yeah.
wanted." And that's what they had. And like, I'm not joking, I've got shivers as much as I talk about this.
I'm having shivers just relating to
It's
like your
true.
words
And,
right
and
now.
being able to speak with you guys.
Yeah, and that's the thing too.
Yeah, because like
Oh, sorry.
us talking.
Oh.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no,
Sorry,
no. Go
it
ahead. This
did
is
like
back and
stop for a
forth.
second. I wasn't sure if you stopped, but it's just that's the thing too. Is there is something so selfish about sobriety. Like you have to be. Like there are ways in which you need to be selfish and at least for a while do everything for you. But I think people hear that and it makes it seem like, oh, I can do this on my own because it's about me. But really what it comes down to is to maintain, you have to find that community, any kind of community. You have to finally have somebody where you
You
relate
have
to,
to.
or all the shit that you hate about AA. There's still shit I hate about AA, but it's like you have to find that one person who explains it to you in just the right way that you needed to hear it that day. And then that's when it clicks, and that's when everything kind of just becomes kind of beautiful about it. Because there's definitely that beginning time where you're just like, I'm sober because I have to be, not because I want to be, and then eventually you want to be.
It's really, really rad hearing y'all talk about it, because I've seen a lot of our friends, our fellow punk rockers, our artists struggle. I mean, it's a way down a hole. Sometimes people don't get out of it. We've lost friends. All of us have lost friends, and there are people that can drink and have a good time and go to work the next day. There are people that can have one drink and next thing you know they want to put a needle in their arm. So you've got to be there for each other on a level that's different, and that could be, I mean, my one example of something, Warped Tour 3 years ago. Chris Aiken from Strung Out and I were standing at a barbecue backstage. I had a beer in my hand and talking to him, and he's like, just tells me how long he's been sober and that he deals with it every day. And I'm like, wow, I'm sorry. And he's like, no, you got to be you. And if you enjoy a beer and it's not a problem, there's nothing wrong with that. And I looked at him and said, well, I want you to know that I
Mm-hmm.
might have a beer, but if you need help getting through and not drinking, I still am here for you and I will do whatever it takes. And we had this great moment, and I love the guy to death anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And now I love him even more because we know that we understand things and we understand each other, and that's a cool fact, you know.
It's a really intimate connection, you know, the ones that you have with other sober people, but then the ones that you have with the people who aren't, but are there for you, because you lose a lot of people. You realize you get a lot of people, a lot of your friends who are end up saying, "Hey, I'm here for you," whatever, and then they just want you to drive them around forever when they're shit house, and that's different. But it's kind of one of those things where, I mean, I was bartending when I got sober, and so I stopped bartending for a while, just went back to serving, and I started bartending again because it kind of stopped being a trigger for me, and that was something that I wanted so bad. Was I don't want to be the person who can't see alcohol. I still want to go to punk rock bowling. I want to do this, but because as long as that was some kind of trigger, you know, I forced myself to sit in bars alone, sober, just so I could get over this shit, you know, because I didn't want, I felt like not being able to be around it meant it was still controlling me somehow. You know, there are people who are different, but that was kind of one of my things. Like you can I know plenty of people who can, plenty of people who can't be around it, but that was probably one of my biggest struggles, was just getting to a point where I felt like I could go to a show and not need to have a beer in my hand.
That was one of the main facts I wanted to bring you in for, David, is number one, you between the two bands and whatever else you have going, you tour pretty much nonstop. Obviously, we're all kind of stuck right now with no touring, but how do you put that? I mean, a lot of people come out to see your bands, and that's their night of the week or their night of the year to go party, and they want you to party with them, and it's how do you live up to that? And I know your antics, I know your stage presence. Man, you are one of the best front people alive. I mean, I'm not kissing your ass. I just love watching you, and I know you're going to climb something. I know you're going to fly across the stage. It's never a dull show. But oh, we lost him. He'll come back.
There he is.
But it's never a dull show. But how do you handle that when you get to the after party or the after show? What's good ways of deflecting or controlling your area? We might have lost him. Can you hear us?
No, did we lose him?
No.
Sometimes when it clicks out like he did a second ago, you lose the audio and video. You have to go out and come back in.
There he is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
There he is.
Okay, cool. I hope I'm not jumping in, but what I was getting from you is like, how do we do this? And one thing that I was thinking about when we were all talking is like, I'm kind of going to bounce around, but I think you and our audience can kind of understand. I stopped drinking about 5.5 years ago, and it has turned out to be the most exciting and just really exciting thing I've ever done in my life. The changes that I got, the thing that I got with me making this life change is opportunity. That my world has grown to such a large amount that I have trouble keeping up with, and that's what I need, because I'm a like a lot of addicts. I have every single one of the things. I'm hyperactive. I struggle with depression. I'm ADD, all of these things. And so one thing that happened when I started looking at it is that I'm fucking, stick with me that this is not big-headed. This is me talking just from one human to another that wants to see positive changes. I'm fucking perfect, dude. I'm fucked up in all the right ways that I need to be to do what I need to do. I I can relate to people that feel way down there. I could never relate to these fucking happy people, but I'm happy. But I know what depression is. I know what suicidal feelings are. Know what it's like to black out for months at a time. And what we can do in this group, what we gain is, the hard thing is though, we're gaining an incredible amount of responsibility because now we know how to help people. And that is what has changed and made me able to be around alcohol. I have, this isn't for everybody. This is my life. I have alcohol because I have a roommate at my house. When my friends come over, if you want to have a drink, you can have a drink around me, and I don't give a fuck. But it took some time to get there. And so we have to think about it. The best way that I can talk about it is like skateboards or music. You know, I didn't join these bands and just start playing like I do now. It takes a lot of time, dude. It takes a lot of fucking time. And this road that I'm on now is like some fucking wild shit that I never ever thought could happen. And like I go back to it, the opportunities that I have now are huge. And I'm not downplaying this at all. When I got up in the morning, I had two things that I could possibly do. And the first one was I was going to get drunk no matter what. That was what was going to happen. Now, what happened after that, I wasn't really in control of. But now, with these opportunities, I can play music. I can, I can go skateboard. I can take my dog out. I can have a great conversation with my roommate, with all of these things that I was incapable of before. Now I have it. And so when I was starting this kind of journey or whatever, there was no possibility that I was going to stop playing music or I was going to stop going to shows. So I had to make a commitment to myself. And that was stay playing music and try to not drink. And I stopped drinking for, I don't know, about 6 months. And when I started drinking again, it was just like the stories, the nightmare stories you hear. In one day, I was further than I'd ever been, or not ever been, but then I was at the peak.
Yeah.
And it didn't kill me. It didn't, my body picked right back up. So, when you're talking about, it takes time, and it does. All of us, what most people want is to say, oh, I don't drink anymore. And it was that easy. It's not easy. And it takes, like anything else, it's going to take a lot of work, and it's a relationship,
Yeah, it's a relationship with yourself for probably the first time ever. I know plenty of people who aren't alcoholics who don't have a relationship with themselves too. And that's something that's really beautiful that you get to learn when you have to figure out what's going on inside of your head and inside of your heart at all times. And I think that that's kind of one of the biggest questions that I had when I was thinking about getting sober, when I was being told I should probably get sober, or just when I was trying to wrap my head around what that would look like. I said, I don't want my life to change. I still want to be able to go out and have fun. I want to go to shows. I want to participate. I want to get in the mosh pit. I want to do all these things. And I thought that I wasn't going to be able to do that. I thought that for whatever reason, alcohol had everything to do with who I was as a person. And it was actually on my second anniversary, second birthday, I guess, that I kind of I was driving to work because I wasn't even celebrating. It wasn't a big deal to me. And I was thinking, I was like, wow, it was like nothing that I liked about my life has changed. It's just a lot better. It's a lot more beautiful in what it is, but nothing that I wanted to stay left at all. And it was just kind of nice to look back on that. And I got sober even thinking that my life would end up looking different, but it hasn't. And except that I'm actually have the opportunity to be happy in my life.
David, what do you put on the writer?
Yeah.
What do you like?
And, like I said, I talk.
Sorry, we talked on each other.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was kind
Oh
of
no, I'm sorry. You go first.
when you're touring now, what do you put on the writer? What do you like? What is your beverage that keeps your throat going, keeps your voice going? Something that's not alcoholic. What give people some tips of some good stuff. What do you like?
Could you say that one more time?
Absolutely. Let's try again. Now that you've been sober touring for quite a while, what do you put on your writer? What's good for your throat? What's good for your voice? What do you have to beverage? What do you like? What can you recommend to people that's a good way to
Oh, my beverage.
Yeah. What do you like? What's good for your voice?
So I'm sorry. Oh, what's good for my voice? You know what's good for my voice is like, dude, I sound like such a fucking dork, and so I hope people can continue this and we can do this more often. I love to talk about this, but what's good for my voice is like like positivity, dude. Like having that, we talk about it in rock shit. My PMA, that shit is real. When I'm fucking down, I'm all the way down. And this is funny too. It's like, yeah.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. What really is funny, what has helped me is when I'm playing night after night after night, that's when my voice is good. If I play 2 shows and 3 days off, and then 2 shows and 3 days off, and 5 shows, and that fucks me up. So I really have to stay doing it. And the worst thing in the world for me is no sleep. I don't sleep a lot, but I need to get like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. If I can get some sleep, my voice is okay. But also, I don't give a fuck if people ask me about if I drink, if I don't drink. But I don't like to continuously tell the same story over again. And my sobriety, or is open to talk to people about, but at the same time, it doesn't define everything
It's not the
about
only thing
me.
about you at
So
all.
if you want, yeah, if you want to talk to me about it, I love talking about it, and I can talk to you for fucking days on end about it. But I have a little thing. So as time progressed and I started realizing things, I like to have my cocktail at the end of the night because I'm a fucking adult too. It's like, so I have like kombucha, or I've got like a Topo Chico. So at the end of the night, one
Here,
yeah,
this stuff right here.
one
Let me
thing
get it here
about
for
me
you.
is though,
This Fever Tree grapefruit is insane.
yes,
If you haven't gotten it yet, it's kind of I pour it in a glass and just sip on it.
I absolutely love the Topo
yeah,
Chico
I want
line.
you gotta.
Yes, that's good too.
Yes.
That's a big
but
Austin,
you know what?
Texas thing, so that's cool.
It is. It is. And I just like it too because like it makes you feel a little bit more Mexican too. Like, yeah, I want this drink. what's what's awesome though? I was talking with somebody about something, and they said, "Yeah, I used to. I'm sober, and I used to struggle with addiction. I used to be an addict, and I am an addict. I will always be an addict. But
except for now,
I
you're
need
talking to me, so you're cured.
exchange those.
This means you're cured.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm
Yeah,
never
no.
gonna.
And for those of you who
But
don't
you
know,
know what I
that's like an
need?
inside
I
joke.
need things to take the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I have a
Are you
pet
bringing the
corgi.
pups out? Hold
Yep.
on.
I have a Corguagua.
I
Yep.
have a dachshund. He's
Hey! I used to have a Chiweenie.
oh, my last one
So
was a
this is a Corguagua. This
oh
guy
mini
is
chihuahua. Now I get it. Oh, he's so cute.
Yep.
Um,
I've seen
Love him.
pictures of him before.
I love him.
That's
but
awesome.
real quick on the after the show kind of thing, I like to being with the addict thing. I have a personality that I spent, you know, about 28 years of doing things, hiding alcohol, hiding drugs, figuring out weird ways to make concoctions. That will never go away. So now I'm okay with that. I have a Topo Chico, and I have a kombucha, and I have a lime or a grapefruit, and I make this weird little drink, and I walk around it. And when people ask me if I want a drink or I want a shot, I already have it. And if it is interesting and worth my time and worth your time, I'll talk to you about it. But here's the other thing. You and me, none of us, we're not fucking God or whatever you want to call it. I'm not here to 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 be your personal therapist. If you want to talk to me about issues, alcoholism and drug addiction, let's talk about it. But motherfucker, I don't have time to hear about your fight with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. Or just like reach out to
And
me
that's my
separately.
kryptonite. That's
Yeah,
yeah,
not right after I finish working. Like, like let me enjoy
yeah,
my night.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm all about like little like fake
Yeah,
cocktails
and
too.
so
I actually
I
have a Michelin star rated non-alcoholic cocktail book and like non-alcoholic distilled spirits in my
yeah,
house. Like I still like I'm still a service worker, like restaurant worker, bartender at heart. Like I still love making things that taste insane and they don't have to have alcohol in them. And I think it's kind of more fun that way too.
oh,
And you don't get to hide behind alcohol. You don't get to hide, shit that tastes
exactly.
behind alcohol.
And yeah, yeah, and like I said, we're adults, and it's like I like to get together, hang out, and talk with my friends while they have their drinks and I have mine. And you had said just a couple of things of positivity with the way that we live this kind of life. Um, as we go a little bit further, we start collecting tools.
Mm-hmm.
They're not physical tools, they're things that we've learned. And so the idea behind us talking with other alcoholics and going to meetings is that when we fall off the horse, we know how to get back up because that first time we fell, we had no tools. The second time we fell, we had a couple of more. And so eventually, we know what happens if we fall off. The goal is always, if we don't want to fall off. And as time progresses, it was like I said, I have options and I have opportunity. And here's what I know. I'm surrounded by drugs. I'm surrounded by alcohol. And along with that are all of my other fucked up things that will always be part of me. Um, and the thing is, when I drink, you can exchange the drug of your choice. We kind of say this at the bottom of 5 or 6 drinks, there's a line of coke. There's speed. For some people, there's heroin. For some people, it's sex. But that's the thing is, as soon as I start drinking, I will not stop because I don't have that inside of me.
Yeah.
And I know that. And so when we start talking about the opportunities and things, I know this. I'm surrounded by all this stuff. Right now, I know if I want to have a drink, I can. And there's something that feels really strong as a adult. I mean, now I have the choice. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Before, people that aren't addicts, they can't relate to this. Well, just don't drink. Fuck
Yeah.
you. Just don't
Yeah.
breathe. For
It's
me,
not how it goes.
drinking was breathing, and so now, yeah, and I struggle a lot with the. I feel I want to thank you guys again because I feel like at home. I can't wait to do this again with you guys, but I I really struggle with my terminology. I'm not a big fan of saying sober this because I am I've been given a gift, and that gift is I can relate to other low level, low bottom punks, and we don't like that word sober because it makes me feel like somebody at church is talking to me. The priest is telling me how to find
Yeah.
God, and I wasn't looking for God. And so for me, I talk about this like I have the option to not drink now, dude. And that kind of connects to people, and they'll say, "You're fucking lying to me. You don't want to drink." I don't want to drink. And it feels good, and it feels strong, and it feels really good because at the end of the day, I have the choice, and I don't want to. And I think that people can relate to that rather than me trying to shove words down because
Mhm.
when you talk about AA, people say I can't. Everybody knows this. Rob, let me ask you a question.
Hit me.
What is the one word that that punks don't go to AA for? What is the one word?
Um, religion?
AA mainly. Yes, well, God.
Yeah. 3 letters. Go.
People, if I would be a millionaire if I was, you know, if I were to accumulate the money of what people don't, they stop going to A. Oh man, that's some fucking religious shit. And it's like, dude, you're caught up on the words, God, sober, all these things. And
Those are the two
I,
things
I
I
wanna
away
I
with.
wanna share something. Exactly. And I want to share something with you because it is so fucking powerful. And again, I want people to be stoked just to look into it. Maybe you're not an alcoholic, but it never hurts
Yeah.
to have some
Actually,
tools.
that's a really good. I just want to
And
throw this in there real quick because we've been doing this for 14
yeah,
now, I think. All of the positivity advice that I've ever given on this series has been something I've learned because I stopped drinking. Like that is it. Whether it's from AA or just from little life, all
mm-hmm.
these tools that I have that got me through quarantine is because I stopped drinking. I had none of this before. But yeah, so back to you. I was like, I just need like people just everybody can
Oh,
relate to the teachings of AA and whatever. It's not just about, you know. Anyway, sorry, go on.
yeah. But and sometimes we have to word it. We have to word it a little bit differently. And so I I ask people that I work with, and I've done this uh, in alleys after a show, like in the club. People like some people are very emotional and they want to talk about this, and I just can't. I just can't take God. And I laugh because I want to go, motherfucker. You want to talk about somebody that did not believe in any God thing? You're looking at it. So I'll tell people close your eyes like let's get hippy dippy, and I want you to feel these words. If you close your eyes and pretend we walk into the ocean, water's about up to your chest, just think about that, and you can feel the air and you can feel the water pushing you and pulling you back and forth. You can feel that, right?
I miss waves.
Okay, so now, yeah, now stop the water, like literally stop water, and you can't. And that is your fucking God. It's not some dude in the clouds with a big fucking beard telling you what's right or wrong. It's that simple. And you just have to realize that word you can interchange it.
Mhm.
You can interchange it, and that was something that was really big for me, because I couldn't digest that
Yeah.
word God.
For me, I never could, and I mean, especially in Albuquerque, there's a lot of religion here, and I'm not like knocking that, but it's still like I can't find a local meeting that doesn't want to make me throw up, because I'm just like, this ain't it for me. But the whole higher power thing is
Mm-hmm.
interchangeable. You can do whatever. Like for me, the entire purpose of it is to give myself the ability to let go of total control in some situations, let go of worry, and like pass it on to something else, to have some idea in your head of where you're passing your shit to, so you don't have to carry it anymore. And that's that. It's whatever that is for you. It's whether it's breathing for 10 seconds slowly, it's wherever you think that air, where you're putting that air into. That's it. Like that's just it. It's just about not carrying things yourself forever, because you don't have to. We hold on to a lot of shit that we don't have to hold on to.
Yeah,
You can see Dan and I both.
and I think one of the
Go ahead, Dave.
and I think one of the big things is this is I do hate the word program, but it's a way of simplifying all the things going. This is, for me, this is a program of letting go of stuff and accepting these things. I've told people this a lot, and other times I've talked with people and they're crying, they're depressed, they're hurt, and they're embarrassed. I don't have that. I did all of those things, some more than others and some less than others, but I did it. And right now, it was just part of my story. I have the ability to say I'm sorry, people. Some people accept it, and some people won't. And if you want to talk punky stuff, fuck them. That's what I did. And I was like, what? I'm not gonna do it again. But I I I have a lot of I have the ability to really think about these things and be honest and apologize for it. And if you can't accept it, then that's okay, because tomorrow me and Pancho are gonna get up, we're gonna go walk in, I'm gonna play some music, I'm gonna see you guys at a fucking show, and my life is going to get better if I am willing to be an active participant in what I want, and what I want is to have a good fucking time. I don't want to be a uh, I'm sorry, and I don't mean this in a negative way, and I'm trying to speak better, but I don't want to be a big, fat, lazy, disgusting person. And that's what it did to me. Is it fucked me up? You guys know I'm a short dude, so the amount of alcohol that I like to ingest just turns me into a little ball. And I like to jump off shit. I like to run. I like to be out. When I was a little kid, I wasn't aware that Darby Crash was as fucked up as he was. But I wanted to be fucking there, because what I saw was somebody involved in music. And I've been given this gift to go to hell and come back with some stories. And now the other gift is that I'm involved with music. And I fucking love it. And I'm one of the luckiest people on earth, because I get to have these rad fucking conversations with other people that have been to hell and back. And I get to fucking play music with some of the greatest fucking humans on earth. All the dudes in crumb bums, all the casualties, all the starving wolves. And I fucking mean this. The gratitude that you fucking learn. So a lot of times we pretend to have gratitude when we're fucked up. I love you, man.
Yeah,
No,
that
you
ain't it.
don't. Gratitude that I have. Yeah, the music that we make together, when you guys are screaming back, "We are all we have tonight." That
Yeah.
is powerful. And that's what I get to do every fucking night when I'm on tour.
Nice.
That's what
That's beautiful.
I will say this as not only a guy in the scene but a fan, is that every time David and I end up in the same place, my soul is better. It's kind of cool. I think he's one of those people that
Ah,
you just light up when I'm around. It lights me up, and you're there. And we've been known to have a hug here and there, and I will tell you that man gives good hugs. That's all I can tell you right there. So, but
I do. Yeah,
I need
good
one.
hugs.
well, the most interesting thing to me about everything you guys just said, and it was really cool sitting here and listening because normally I have to kind of lead this thing, and it was cool watching it, is that almost every single piece of what y'all were saying is perfect for fighting depression, fighting uh, anything. It seemed like it all just kind of fits into the whole PMA idea that we've been trying to spread with this since COVID started. We started doing these talks, and
Mm-hmm.
literally, David, the first one was just me. I literally just got on internet and started talking, and people
Wow.
watched. And the next week we brought Dan and my wife
Yeah.
in, and then the next week we brought Mackenzie in, and
Mhm.
then we've been bringing in
Yeah.
guests. You're in some good company. We've had some rad guests, and we'll keep getting more and more. Um, but this week was really cool hearing about sobriety and the the struggle to get there and stay there, but the positivity that you both found in it is just unreal. So
Something just quick to add, anybody who's struggling with any sort of mental health
Mm-hmm.
stuff, at least like the first step to going clean or sober or dry is usually the term that I use, is just to stop using. Like that's the first thing. But if you really want to be successful in it, it really comes down to fixing why you were going to that in the first place. And so it has everything to do with, seeing a therapist or talking to people about your
Mm-hmm.
depression, your anxiety, whatever it is that made you feel the need to get away mentally all the time. And then that's the beautiful, like that's why David and I are
Yes.
sitting here just so stoked, like you found it, I found it, like yeah, it's like we have answers now. And it's not all the time. I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't
Mm-hmm.
felt suicidal since I stopped drinking. Like I'm not going to say that it's always roses and rainbows, but it's just
Yeah.
being inspired to just get the help that you need in order
No.
to keep yourself healthy in your brain has been amazing.
well, we're
Well,
running
real
up
quick,
close
one
to.
thing I want
Go
to
ahead.
say too is, oh,
No, you're fine.
I'll
Go.
say this one thing. It's like life is this incredible fucking journeys of ups and downs, and I was addicted to the very high and the very low, and they gave me the same feeling. When I was real low, I like it. I love that dark hole, and I also love to be this wild, you know, party animal. And now what I've found that is really awesome is to be right in the fucking middle. For me, that's good because I have options of up and down. But one thing that I love to think about when I start feeling low or I feel trapped, I didn't do this to have a boring life. I stopped drinking to have a fucking kick ass
Mm-hmm.
punk rock fucking life. And I have it. And I'll continue to have it. I hope. And having these kind of conversations and opening up dialogue is what it's done for me. So I just wanted to say that.
That's
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
we're running up against our normal hour and 10 minutes. So let's
Cool.
circle back around real quick. I hope everybody still remembers everything we've been talking about over the last how long, where we're saying you got to keep on the gas, people. It's there's a lot of change actually starting to happen, and people standing up right now, and it's
Hmm.
absolutely gorgeous. We're not going to tell you we're not about politics. We're about being punks and changing the world to a better place. But do it. But stay on the gas. there's so much going on right now for standing up for people of color, for people of the Native American population, which, you know, it's always been a huge deal to me. That's been one of my focuses most of my life. I love that. I say it over and over, Punk Rock Saves Lives comes from the Joe Strummer, Kevin Second school of punk rock, and that is, we're here to make a difference. Some people believe in the nihilism and all of the original punk, and that's cool too. But on our side, we're here to try to make a difference for you. Let's do our normal end of the week. Let's see, Mr. Dan, what is something this week that you have in mind for yourself? Something you think would be cool for other people, and a band or an artist that you've been checking out that would be cool for other people to check out this week. Dan's up first.
Absolutely. Well, I'd love to recite exactly two of the things David said that actually hit me, as Mackenzie said, specifically on how everything talked about goes through really any aspect of life of its own. Seriously, as simple as it is, I love the more you search for something you want, you find it. It's absolutely true. Even if it takes years at a time, you'll get there because you're giving that effort, and it might not be exactly what you were originally searching for, but what you'll get in the long run is even better. And I absolutely love that very much. Similarities even, not differences don't connect us. Similarities do. Right now we're proof. We're living it. Doing this is exactly what it is. And it's just great to have that. So thank you for everything today, David.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Honestly,
Okay,
band-wise, I'm gonna. We didn't talk about him, but I'm gonna bring him up because of your recent tattoo. And since last week, I cannot stop shuffling the Living End. Wow. Absolutely nonstop. I knew their latest album the most as Not Like the Other Boys and Other Side and all that, and I love it. And then I dug deeper into their original stuff, and it's kind of like certain artists, either you can't skip a song. There's some deep greatness to them, and you know what? I'm just gonna say that's my band of the week.
Well, I've been adding, as he said, I've been adding to my tattoo leg of my favorite bands, and I did just add the Living End with the little logo with the stand-up bass and the drum and the guitar. And I posted it online, and believe it or not, Mr. Cheney, Chris Cheney, the lead singer, guitar player, came back and he was like rousing me a little bit, which was really, really cool. I love that guy a lot. And he was like, do you not know these things are permanent? No, I'm just kidding. But quite, I think so. I think I'm stuck with a few of them. And one of my actually one of the people that I consider my little sister, probably the closest thing I ever had to an actual biological sister. Now I have a stepsister that I love to death, but Allison, her last name is Mull now. I always want to say Baines, her original name, but Allison at 40 something years old went and got her first tattoo today, and it was almost a half sleeve. So nice. I'm like, yeah, I love hearing that kind of story.
Nice.
But the fun part now is most of the people that don't have tattoos are the weird people now. It seems like everybody's got a tattoo, but
I know. I never started. I was gonna start, and I didn't know. I'm like, should I just stay like clean? I don't know. I probably won't. I definitely won't. But
I got my first tattoo at 21, but I really didn't embrace going for a bunch until into my 30s, and definitely in my 40s. I have, if you look at pictures back, it became a big deal to me. I like the collection. I like what I've been doing with different parts. You know, I've got one arm of travel. I got one arm of nautical. I've got a leg of my favorite bands. I've got a leg of like childhood stuff. David, I've got a corgi tattoo, you know, so I got a corgi butt on my leg. So, you know.
Awesome.
How punk rock is that? All right. There you go. All right.
I think maybe I'll take that note. Maybe my first tattoo will be
I love it.
Kurt Vonnegut's butthole that he drew in Breakfast of Champions.
That
I
could
might
be
do
cool.
that just to have right. I don't know. Anyway,
All right,
Sorry.
Mackenzie, what's going on? What are you thinking this week? What's
this week this week is one of those weeks where I'm just happy to be here, happy to be a part of it. You know, of the thing we call life and all of that. Definitely on the uphill part of a roller coaster, which I like to remind myself all the time. Most of the time you spend on a roller coaster is waiting for the top, is that uphill climb. So that's where I'm at. So I'm fine with it. I'm excited for the peak. But band that everybody should be checking out is a new Band Alert. They dropped their first ever album in May, beginning of May, I believe. So I'm letting you guys know a little late. It is called Fake Names. It is Dennis Lixon of Refused and Brian Baker
my
of
boy
Minor
Brian?
Threat, Bad Religion. And if you're not already listening to it, you need to.
Brian
Do
Baker.
it.
They keep playing it on the Punk Taco station that I listen to,
It is so good.
and they say it's a superstar band, and then they say members of Bad Religion, Minor Threat, and I'm like, that's the same guy every
Yeah.
time I hear it. But
Well, I mean, every single person in the band has been in like 7
Yep.
other bands. So, you know, technically it's 28 bands worth of experience in one neat little package. And it sounds a lot different than I think you'd expect knowing who's in it, but it's good.
Dennis's voice is insane. So, and all right, David, what's a point you can give people to have a better week, and something you've been listening to that could help people have a PMA?
Okay, well, I think one thing that's fucking so awesome is there's a term called try not to believe your own bullshit. Now, the positive part of that is be fucking easy with yourself. Like, we make mistakes, but let's get up every fucking day and try to do something that yeah, something that you're capable of, and enjoy doing it. And the more that we do things we like, that we continue. And then also check up on one friends, somebody that's not doing so good. That means the world to people. It meant the world to me when people would check up on me. And so it's fucking simple. You feel good. You can selfishly do that and feel awesome. Now, musically, I'm going to be a selfish pig and tell you that I hope that people can get out and check out Starving Wolves' debut record called True Fire. Um, a lot of this, if you have some dark issues, that's what this is about, coming out of it and finding that true fire inside yourself. So I'd love to hear from anybody. Write me on Facebook, on Instagram, and really, I'm so proud to be part of this with the guys that I play with and the girls that are part of this. Um, it really got me to where I am now, and so I hope that some people can listen to it and relate. So I'm listening to it myself.
There's nothing wrong with that. You gotta love your own.
Yeah, I think
Thank
Starving
you.
Wolves, I think, are my favorite of the bands you've
Thanks
done.
for having me on, and I really hope.
It's
Awesome. Thank you.
It's all good.
We hope to be out soon.
We're all learning that situation where they're not, when we can get back out. Like we've said many a times on here, please be smart, do what's right for you. Don't let anybody bully you into getting back out in society as fast.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to, do what's right for you. Dan's subject a few weeks back was, it's not selfish to look out for yourself. And that is true, especially now. There's a lot of political division on whether or not things should be open, whether we should be wearing masks, all of that stuff. It's okay to be yourself. It's okay to stand up. We will beg you, as a human, please wear a mask. It's watching out for your fellow human. It's not a control tool. It's not all that stuff you're hearing. It's literally keeping your germs from going further away from you. So please do that for me. I'll tell you, a band, I still can't get enough of the new Bad Cop, Bad Cop. It's just friggin' insane. Amazing four women that put out quite possibly a perfect album. It's please check that out. I said this last week and I want to say it again. If anybody is a record label, my buddies in Counterpunch have an amazing album sitting in the can, already recorded. They need someone to put it out for them, and I can tell you it's killer. And I'm not saying that because they recorded it in Denver and slept in my house for 2 weeks while they were recording it. But so go out, and people are commenting the record slaps. That's beautiful. So we, as I say every week, I'm going to say goodbye for all of us. I want you to know personally, I say it every week, I love you all. It's for real. We are here for you. Punk Rock Saves Lives. We came from a cancer organization to become an organization that's trying to change the world in many different ways. And we are going to bring up topics. We're going to talk about things here and on the road that are a little tough to swallow sometimes. Today, sobriety is a tough one. And if that's your road, if you need help getting on that road, we're here for you. We'll do what we can to help you. It's tools. David put that word out there, and we've used that word a lot over the last 15 weeks. Tools are an important way to cope and deal with everything and make your life better. Hopefully you realize we are a tool, not meaning it in a bad way, but we are a tool for you. You can reach out to any of us. I say it every week. My phone number is personally out there. You can get it with no problem off my Facebook, probably off Punk Rock Saves Lives. If you have a problem, call me. If I don't answer, I will get back to you. Someone just rang my doorbell. That's weird. But I think I got a delivery. But other than that, go out. If you can't go out, call someone. Like they said, check on one person this week, be it your neighbor, be it a friend, be it someone. I want to throw a little shout out there. A dear friend of mine and advisor to the charity, Chris Cleary, he's a tattoo artist in Pittsburgh, dear friend of ours, took it upon himself he felt like he had gone down a path and he's drinking too much. He's about 80 hours sober right now. So
Chris.
He stumbled twice, he told me earlier today. I don't mean to, he gave me permission to talk about this because he knew what our topic was. He stumbled 2 times, awesome. But it's been 80 hours now and he's trying very hard. He doesn't know if it's going to be a situation where he gets sober and stays sober, but he's trying to mellow it out. He wants to make it where if he wants to drink, it's social and it's not an everyday thing. So we stand here with you. I've talked to him today. I will talk to anybody that needs me. I think I checked it. Did I text you today or yesterday, Dan?
I think yesterday.
Yeah, they're running. The days are running together. But
they are.
There is nothing in the world wrong with checking with a friend. There's nothing wrong with trying to do something for you in your life. So stand up, be kind, be a punk. The four words I put to punk, and we're trying to stand behind it with this charity, is P for positivity, U for unity, N for nurture, and K for kindness. We love you. One love. Up the punks. Thank you to David. Go see the Casualties. Go see Starving Wolves. Maybe they'll do a Crumb Bums reunion one day. Go see that man.
Crumb Bums a lot of Spotify listens, so they have to come back. Do it. We can make that happen.
That man is one of the most entertaining performers alive.
We will.
Yeah.
So Much love. Stay out of trouble. Get into trouble. Do it all. We love you. One love.
Take care.
Bye.